Hey there guys, it's Cheyenne. So this video may go some places that are kind of scary for me to talk about. So I'm a little nervous, so I do apologize if this one is edited extra choppy. It is currently a couple of days before the new year, and I decided that it would be a good idea just to kind of talk about this year, and talk about what my New Year's resolutions are going to be for next year. This year has been interesting. It has been both one of the most rewarding years of my life, but it has also been, I think, probably the hardest single year of my life. So this year started with me leaving the job that I had in 2014 due to reasons that were, honestly, looking back, largely my own doing. And the job itself I'm not that upset about in the long run, but I did end up losing a friend in the process. And that part I'm still really sad about. So the year kind of started really hard for me, being unemployed, not, being entirely sure what I was going to be doing, what I wanted to be doing even. Went through the move, which was good for me in a lot of ways, but it was also really hard because I felt really isolated. I ended up kind of disconnecting from a lot of my friends. I went through a really intense depression this year. I felt numb, I felt empty, I felt completely alone. I did not fully attempt suicide this year, but I planned a suicide attempt. It was actually going to be on my birthday. I liked the idea of dying on my birthday. I did all this research and kind of thought about it and decided how I wanted to die. And I decided that I was going to drive my car into a body of water so that it would look like an accident. I wasn't going to write a suicide note or anything, because I was a fairly new driver, and I figured people would just assume I lost control of my car, because I didn't want my family to worry about me, which is ridiculous sounding, but I felt like everybody in my life would either not miss me at all or would be better off without me. I felt like I was wasting my life, and because of that I felt like I didn't deserve it. I felt like there was nobody that I could talk to about it because I didn't want to worry anybody around me, because I felt like it was my fault and therefore it was something I had to deal with on my own. And it just made me kind of hate myself because I knew that my life is actually really good. I'm healthy, I'm like well off enough, I have a roof over my head, I have food, I knew that my life was great and amazing and I was lucky to have it, but I still felt so empty and so alone, and I felt like I was a terrible person and I felt like I was worthless. But thankfully my parents found out what I was planning to do, and they kind of stopped me and talked me down. Even after I kind of got back from that ledge, it wasn't immediate. I'm still not 100% all the time. I'm still not okay all of the time. But I've been working really hard to get out of that and to work towards seeing somebody about it and really kind of getting out of that downward spiral that I was in emotionally. Kind of basically I decided to live. And I'm still not 100%, and I'm still not, I still have days where I don't want to get out of bed and I want to just be like swallowed up by the void, and I purposefully don't keep things around the house that I could hurt myself with. I did decide like I want to really get through this and I really want to live, and I'm so glad that I did, because in retrospect this year was amazing. That like when I look back and I think about everything that I did this year, I realize that it's worth it to keep going. It's like I almost feel like maybe this year was like, I don't want to say labor pains, but something like that, of like becoming the person that I want to be, getting through that process. It's hard and it's painful, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. I got over one of my biggest phobias in the world. I learned to drive. I got my driver's license. I cosplayed a bunch of characters. I'm really proud of myself because of all of the costumes I made this year. I'm really proud of. I feel like my skills are really improving. I did some modeling that I'm really happy with and really proud of. I got published this year in a couple of places, including in Cosmo, which was weird but really cool. I'm living on my own. I'm self-sufficient. I have my own space to really try and find myself and find what it is that I really want to be doing. I got invited to make a video for DC Comics. Like, that's still amazing. I still can't even wrap my head around that. That was amazing. And Bruce Campbell stuck a $20 bill in between my boobs. Like, this year is amazing, and it's like if I had given up, I wouldn't have had any of those experiences. And I've done so many things in a year, and I've grown so much this year. Like, when I look back at it, like, this year has been amazing, and life is amazing, and the universe is so amazing, and it wants me to be here. It keeps giving me all of these signs. I want to just try and get on that path more. To the resolutions. My main resolution for 2016 is to be nicer to myself and be kinder to myself, and to try and keep taking care of myself emotionally and mentally. Whatever that ends up needing to mean, if that means, seeing a counselor, if that means saying affirmations every day and feeling like a weirdo, if that just means, buying myself some ice cream, I'm gonna do it. This year, I want to be the year that I focus on what I want and what makes me happy. Like, that's the most important one by far. That is really important. But some other goals and New Year's resolutions that I want to at least try and hit on this year. So I did a lot better in terms of making costumes this year. I made several that I'm really proud of. I made Lum, I made Nurse Joy, I put Lana together. I didn't really make a ton for that except for the boots, but put it together. I made Vanellope. I made New Starfire. I got to meet Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti in it, which was cool. I want to try and just keep that momentum going this year. So number one, I want to try and go to more conventions this year. 2015, that was kind of tricky for me because I didn't have a ton of money, and I may not get to go to a jillion this year just because I work on weekends, so that makes it a little tricky, but I want to try to go to at least 3 or 4 this year. I also want to really stay on gear in terms of making costumes. I want to try and make at least one full finished costume for myself every month. At least the sewing portions. Number 3, I want to try and be healthier this year. I've been eating a lot of crap this year, partially due to the depression, partially because I'm on kind of a tight budget, so it's a lot of ramen and things like that, which are yummy and delicious and I love, but I know that that's not something that I need to be eating all the time. So I want to try and eat things, more fresh things, more fruits and vegetables. I do want to try and work out a little bit this year, but I don't necessarily want to focus on like weight or getting toned up or anything like that. I just want to focus on feeling better. Those were, I think, the main ones. I feel like there were others. Oh, okay, so this is one just because I was watching my my New Year's resolutions for last year, and I talked about wanting that Shoujo Starfire figure, and I didn't get it this year, so I think by next year I need to get that. I want to start my Starfire shelf or wall, because Starfire has got me through a lot this year. As dorky as that sounds, when I was going through the really hard times, a lot of the time I would kind of think about like, what would Starfire do? Okay guys, so that's my resolutions for 2016. Fingers crossed that I'll be able to crush it. Now I want to hear from you guys. What is a New Year's resolution that you have for next year? Alright, well I will see you guys next year. See what I did there? Yep. See you guys next year. Alright, bye.